Okay, here can I see if you can hear you now? Say something, please.
Yes.
Right, we're hearing
Testing.
you loud and clear now.
Okay.
Very good. Right, so good afternoon to you. Welcome to
Good
the Street
afternoon.
919 FM, the future of talk. It's the number one afternoon talk show in Trinidad and Tobago. Right? Welcome, welcome. And
Thanks, and thanks for having me.
yes, it will be remiss of me not to mention that just last weekend I was in Tobago and I sorry I missed the carnival. I know you all have a very successful carnival now because the everyone from over here went across the Tobago carnival. Everybody's talking about it. It's the big thing now. So
It certainly is. It
yes, I
certainly is.
sorry, and I
Well,
never had
next
the
time, next
opportunity
year,
to
you can come
attend.
next year.
Yeah. So I want to jump right in, right? Because I feel that the people of Trinidad is not hearing what's going on in Tobago enough,
Mhm.
right? Since after the THA election and Mr. Fali Augustin became the chief sec, and after the whole uh, bunch of well, I want to talk layman here because my people are more grounded people. After they beat up the PNM in Tobago, I believe that you are building silence, right? And issues that are affecting you guys over there is not reaching the ears of the people of Trinidad. And I believe that is deliberately done because they don't want Trinidadians to follow you guys, especially with the upcoming general election next year. So,
Mhm.
what's your take?
Certainly, well, several things have been happening. I think we have been so busy trying to fix all of the mess that they left that sometimes we don't even recognize that we need to speak more frequently. But yes, I do think that they are actively trying to make us look bad at every corner, every turn.
Mm-hmm.
But the people of Tobago knows why they voted for us. They know why they gave us such an overwhelming victory.
Right.
And therefore, I do also think that they really are afraid that the people of Trinidad will do something very similar. So they're trying to keep us as quiet as possible. But we will persevere. We continue to do what we have to do.
Okay, very good. So, autonomy, I hope I pronounced it right. Tobago autonomy, right? This have been on the book since the days of A&R Robinson, and to me, every leader of Tobago who that came to Trinidad always asks for this. Is this something that is beneficial for you guys in Tobago? Do you think that, some people may say, oh, why Tobago want to split from Trinidad and, is the Twin Island Republic and, the yada, 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 yada. But you tell us.
Certainly. So let me start by saying that one, Tobago does not want to separate from Trinidad. The country known as Trinidad and Tobago is an amazing country, and we don't want to do anything to break that up. So let me start there. So this idea of every time we start talking about autonomy, it means we want to separate. That is furthest from the truth.
Right.
But just think about it. Think about an 18-year-old child or an 18-year-old just turned 18, so you are now an adult. You were a child before, you are an adult now, and you want to go out and experience life yourself. You want to get your own job, you want to probably get your own apartment. You want to do things for yourself. That is basically what autonomy is. We want to do things for ourselves that would benefit all of us. Because the way we see it, if Tobago benefits, if Tobago gets better, if Tobago increases its economic activity, if Tobago, for example, has its Tobago Carnival that is great and grand, then Trinidad and Tobago benefits because it's not like we are taking anything away from Trinidad. We
Correct.
just want to be able to stand up on our own 2 feet, be man and woman in our own house. So when we talk about autonomy, that is really what we are talking about. We really just want the opportunity to do something that may be important to us, that may not necessarily be important to Trinidad. So, for example, let's look at the same carnival.
Right.
Trinidad is the mecca of carnival, the home of carnival, the greatest show on earth. The kind of care or the kind of thinking that we are thinking about a carnival for Tobago now, Trinidad may not have the time to put in that kind of effort and to put in that kind of thought and to put in that kind of development into a carnival.
Right.
But because it's something new for us, we want to do it ourselves. We want to give it that time and energy and input into it so that we could make it into something great as well.
Right.
So it's not competing. We want to do something for ourselves that makes Tobago stronger. And if Tobago is stronger, Trinidad and Tobago is much stronger.
Very good. I have to agree with you. I must say, I, for one, love Tobago. I try to visit as much as I can, but I don't want to get too personal. I want to go down to the issues, and I'm going to start. I want to let you know this show here. People who come to my show for interviews, I ask the hard questions, right? One of the questions I want to ask: are you all satisfied with your budget that you got for Tobago to run the country? I will say my opinion after you speak.
Well, the answer is a resounding no. And let me give you some clear examples of why.
Right.
Okay. So Tobago got 2 point something billion dollars to run the whole island. That includes paying all of our salaries. It also includes doing what we call developmental work. Developmental work is the work that we do to develop the island. It's like an injection into a business. You know, they said to make money, you have to have money to make money. You have to
Correct.
inject something into it for the business to start up and to flourish.
Yes.
That is what the development money is. And even though Tobago got 2 point something billion dollars total, our development money, as in to inject into the whole island, was $200 million. Now, for the average man on the ground who
Wow.
working for 5,000 or 10,000, $200 million is plenty money. But when you consider the fact that they are going to take, I think, what is it, a 500 million or so to do Hyatt. Is that what they said? Not Hyatt, Hilton. That's the figure that they're calling for
Yeah.
Hilton.
For yeah.
Yeah. So imagine Hilton taking that much money and you are giving Tobago to
For
develop the whole island, in essence, half of what you're giving Hilton.
Hilton. Yeah. Oh
So
my God.
look at the zoo. The zoo in Trinidad, I think it took what 50 something million dollars to fix
Yes.
up the zoo.
Yeah.
We have no problem with the zoo fixing, but you're telling me that you're giving the zoo a quarter of what you're giving the whole of Tobago to fix.
That's
That
unfair.
that math's not
It's
mathsing.
not Matson at all. That's
Yeah.
really sad. Are you thinking? Do you think that's deliberate?
Um,
Do you think that they are punishing you guys for for? Do you think
Well,
that they are trying to get back at you guys?
Mr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley basically told Tobagonians that if they voted for us, he will never forgive them.
Yes, he
He
did
said
said that.
that before the election.
Yes, he
So
said that.
maybe this is him staying true to his word. It may be the only thing he's honest about.
Uh, uh, you believe that this deliberate? Well, I am saying this. You're not saying this. I'm saying it's deliberate, right? This deliberate act by starving you guys for resources and funds. Uh, do you think the people of Tobago understands that is they are the ones? Because I want to base it around this. When I was in Tobago, I heard someone said that they were getting more when the PNM was running the assembly, and now that you guys are there, it's like your hands are tied, right? And I know that is because of the funding. So I want to know if the people of Tobago understand that it's not your fault, but what central government is doing to you all.
Yeah, I think they understand because we have been going through this song and dance for such a long time. The Tobago House of Assembly being an institution for 40 something years, recognizing that it was only 20 something years ago that we even started getting a decent amount in terms of getting up to we were at some point we were getting about 0.5%, 1%, 2% of the budget. But 20 something years ago, the then chief secretary basically took the government to court, and the government, and it was agreed upon that Tobago would get between 4.5, 4.3, and 6.9% of the budget. And that is what we are getting now. Granted, it's always closer to the 4.03%, always closer to the bottom. So Tobagonians are accustomed to hearing us having that argument and accustomed to hearing us having that discussion about how, we're not getting enough money and what we need to do with the money that we get and so forth. So I think that the Tobagonians are not fooled, which is probably why they did give us the opportunity to run the island and gave us that overwhelming victory 3 or so years ago. So the Tobagonians are not foolish.
Okay, very good. I just moving on to something else. You know, we have a 2025 general elections coming up. And I know you guys have your new party, right, that is going to be contesting the general elections, right? The word on the ground in Trinidad, a lot of people will want to know, well, if this new Tobago party wins the two seats in Tobago from the PNM, will they join up with an opposition party or whoever to form the next government? And if not, will they join the PNM? So that question, I know if I don't ask it, my callers going to and listeners going to call me after and say, why you didn't ask the woman that? You understand? So I have to ask you.
Well, let me be brutally honest about our intention for those two seats. Because we have been fighting so much for Tobago and for what we need Tobago to get for us to get the kind of development that we need. We intend to win those two seats. We think we know we will win those two seats
Right?
unless something drastic happens, we will
Happens,
win
okay.
them. And then we will use those two seats as bargaining chips. To be honest, we will use those two seats as bargaining chips to
Right.
determine to help negotiate on behalf of Tobago.
Right.
So the negotiation is going to happen with whoever the others. Well, we are no friends, we are no enemies either. But whoever comes to the table and says to Tobago, this is what we can partner with you to do. If you side with us, that is what we will use those two seats to do.
And I think the idea of autonomy will be on the front burner.
It is definitely going to be on the front burner, and
Exactly.
it has to be something that we will not be locked into anything that says, so you dangle something, and then when you get what you want, you forget that you were dangling this thing. No, no, no. We are going to be negotiating in a way that we would allow us to pull back if we need to. If you promised us something, you have to hold true to your word, or we basically mash up the whole thing's kind
Yeah.
of story.
Okay.
That is the kind of negotiation we intend to do with those two seats.
Very good. I understand you all, and this is very good politics because you all are seeking the people of Tobago interests at heart. Something that we wish we had here in Trinidad, well, for both Trinidad and Tobago, by our leaders here, right, who are in government right now. I'm going to try to hold my tongue because I was getting in trouble. Right, moving along. I was privy to some information concerning the construction and the outfitting of the Roxboro Hospital, whereby a lot of well mismanagement and misappropriation of funds and things that were supposed to be there not there and all these things already. Can you clarify for us? Do you have that information? If you have that information.
Certainly. So you have there that I am the Deputy Chief Secretary, but I am also the Secretary with responsibility for health on the
Okay.
island. So the hospitals and health centers are directly under my purview. So this is what happened, eh? Just before the election, way back when, of course, they constructed the hospital, and there was a big hoopla where the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, they had a big hoopla
Right.
and commission, and we assumed it was opening the Roxboro Health Facility. So when I became Secretary of Health in December 2021, I kind of expected to be able to walk into the facility and lie down on a bed and get treatment, right?
Right.
You had a big hoopla.
Right.
Only to realize at that time that no, the big hoopla was just an election hoopla, and that
Wow.
the several things did not happen. One, the facility was actually not built appropriately for a hospital. So when you are about to start now and you need to start up your lab or your pharmacy or any of those areas,
Yeah.
when the entity, so the pharmacy board or the lab board and whoever comes in to look at it to make sure everything is okay to give you the stamp of approval, that is when we are realizing that, okay, that not supposed to be there, that's supposed to be bigger, that not supposed to be there, and all kind of story.
Right.
So we ended up having to spend a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of effort, actually retrofitting a lot of the facilities to bring it up to code so that we can get the certification to actually open it. So what we are doing now, it is still not officially launched as a hospital 24 hours just yet,
Okay.
because we are testing out all of the systems to make sure that they are working and that they are working well. And let me give you another example of why this testing and slow pace that we've been doing is important. One of the programs that we are running out of that facility is a cataract surgery program where
Mm-hmm.
people who've been waiting for cataract surgeries since COVID, they could come and get cataracts. Cataracts is a relatively easy surgery. By the end of the day, you go home with the dark glasses. You come back a couple days later, make sure everything is good, and you're fine. We recognized as we were about to start some of those surgeries a couple weeks ago that the AC system in the operating room was down. And
Wow.
there is no backup system. So normally in a situation like that, you have the main system, but you have a backup system just in case the main system goes down.
Right.
There was no backup system. So we now have to go and spend money again to ensure that there is a backup system, because we don't want a situation where we're in the middle of a surgery, the AC gone down, and now we have to treat with that catastrophe in the hospital. So
Wow.
it's the types of things that we have been working on. And that is why it is taking such a long time for us to get the facility up and running. Because remember, as I said before, the $200 million that we are getting for the island to do all of those things, that is has to come out of that 200 million
Correct. Wow. That will make
resources.
that. Wow. So once
Mhm.
again, we see the PNM trying their propaganda and they're trying to stunt to woo the people. They open the hospital and make a big, big, big opening, grand opening. Like if I say, "Oh, nice hospital," I pass and saw it on the outside. I say, "Wow, brand new hospital, looking nice and thing," not knowing there's all these problems with the hospital. So it's,
And we understand even for that big, big opening, they actually rent some of the equipment and they have to just pack it up and go the next
you
day after they rent it
serious?
and did the
Wow,
big opening. Yes.
my God, these people. So we coming up. We're running out a little time here. We have about 2 more minutes to go before we go. So I just want to leave the floor to you if you want to mention anything that I didn't ask. If you want to tell Trinidad and Tobago anything, you can go ahead. It is 2 minutes.
Certainly. So I want to take the opportunity to say, going back to the original thing that we were talking about, which is the Tobago autonomy.
Autonomy, yeah.
Um, by no means are we saying, because there are a couple bills right now in the parliament that the Prime Minister said he wants to pass. And what we are saying is that there are a couple things in those bills that don't really make a lot of sense right now. So we shouldn't pass them. We should not pass them as they are, but they should come back to the people of Tobago. Let's have some discussion. Let us work through what is the best thing for both Trinidad
And
and
Tobago,
Tobago.
yes, yes.
And if we do that, then both of us would be good. So you would hear them, for example, now talking about we don't want the bills and we don't want this and that, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's furthest from the truth. It's just that there are some key pieces of what is in the bill that we need to be very, very careful of. And we have already identified what those things are. So it's really just a matter of making some edits and we'll be good to go. We'll be good to go. And that way we will keep this wonderful country known as Trinidad and Tobago together.
Very good, very good. I've now got hinted, and I forgot to mention, the tourism of Tobago,
Mhm.
whereby Tobago was the place where every tourist used to want to come in the Caribbean. Before the Bahamas was Bahamas, and before the Cayman Island was Cayman Island, and before all the other
Mhm.
places, Tobago was the place. Are you guys trying to bring it back to that glory days of tourism?
Yes, we are definitely trying to bring it back. As a matter of fact, the chief secretary and the secretary for tourism are currently now in London doing the kind of marketing that we need to market the island so that people could come. One issue though, one little problem. When last you tried to get a flight from Trinidad to Tobago?
Just
Hmm.
we can go.
Right.
Problems.
And that is where the problem comes in. So people want to come, even for the carnival, people wanted to come. They could have gotten flights to Trinidad, but when they're trying to get from Trinidad to Tobago,
Yeah,
Caribbean Airlines says it have no flights. So we
right.
have to work all of these things out because there's no point in us marketing if people can't reach the island, you know? So
Understood.
those are the things that we're working on. But the chief secretary and the secretary for tourism is out in London right now, actually marketing Tobago on our behalf.
And I was want to mention, just an honorary mention, it's about time they build this deep water harbor for you guys to allow these cruise ships and them to come in their multitude so that every
Yeah.
all these cruise ships you see in all of the road could come to Tobago and let us see the beautiful island of Tobago so we can get in some of that forex that they're bringing to other countries. You understand? So I want to thank you very
Exactly.
much. I want to thank you. We run out of time, right? I hope in the near future I can get you back. Or, or you ODR Chief Sec. I would like to interview him also, right?
Totally. And actually, he has already agreed in principle to being interviewed. So maybe that is something we could arrange much
Okay.
sooner than you think,
All right.
probably.
Very good. Very good. So we'll keep in touch. And I want to thank you for coming on here on 919 FM, the future of talk. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Bye. Thank you.